Hi, welcome back to the Fit Refresh. My name is Sarah Martinez. I'm a health coach and I help professional yo-yo dieters create a healthy long-term relationship with food and fitness. I'm going to talk about mindful eating, which is probably one of the key components that really helps you build a long-term happy relationship with food and fitness. So today, how can mindful eating help me lose weight? Let's go. Now's a great time to hit that subscribe button and of course like this video at any point if you felt like it was useful information or if you just, you like me. Awesome, hit like, it'd be great. And of course ask your questions. I love fielding questions and helping you guys on the unique situations that you're dealing with on a daily basis. So put them down below and let's get going. What is mindful eating? It's pretty much in the name to a certain extent, right? It's having a big thought process about the food you're eating and how it affects you. Specifically, it's a technique that helps you gain power over your eating habits to promote weight loss or to get away from unhealthy eating patterns like binge eating and overall just to feel a better and more helpful approach to your nutrition goals. So there are 8 steps to a mindful eating perspective. The first one I want to talk about is eating slowly without distraction. This is a really hard one because we're so busy these days, right? We have so many places to go. You got work, you got home, you got to cook stuff, you got to do this, you got to do that. So really finding the time to sit down and enjoy the food you're having is really hard. And there's some really key things that make this very important. First of all, when you can taste the flavors that you're having, it means, you're going to enjoy and appreciate your food more. Just when we're on the fly and we're not really thinking about what we're eating or putting in our mouth, we tend to consume more calories, just kind of mindless eating. So forcing yourself to sit down, eat slowly without distraction, you are now kind of forcing yourself to focus in on your food. This is an important one, guys. Listening to your body's hunger cues. Your body's going to start to tell you when you're feeling hungry. So some things you might find, either you start to lose a little lack of focus, maybe your attention span starts to shorten, maybe your temper starts to shorten. Also, you might feel growling in your stomach. All of these things might be signs that you're hungry. The other thing is knowing when to stop when you're full. So this is a really important one, right? How many times have you had too much food and you think to yourself, oh my God, I should have not had that last couple bites or that last. So really understanding when you feel full and then stopping when you do is a huge part of this step. The next one to think about is whether you are truly hungry or you are responding to non-hunger triggers. So this is where that awareness factor starts to really kick in, right? Because you have to start to understand when you're actually hungry and when you're bored or angry or sad, and it doesn't really have to do with hunger, but your body kind of cues in, oh, I must need food right now. So starting to distinguish those moments and understand what they are is a really big step, and for a lot of people, this is a step that will change their whole perspective. I love this one. I call this the factor. So this kind of goes in hand with, not having distractions, looking at your food and sitting down doing something without distraction. It gives you an opportunity to truly get to know your food, right? One of the biggest cues I give my clients when they're telling me about their cheese, addiction is that what is it about cheese that they like? Is it the flavor? Is it the texture? Is it the smell? Because there are ways to substitute things based on what is the trigger thing that you love the most about it. But the first thing you have to do is become aware of that. So knowing what the texture, the flavor, the smells, becoming more aware of that will help you start to really key into mindful eating. One of the most important pillars of mindful eating is to help learn ways to deal with the guilt and anxiety we put behind food. Creating an environment around you where you don't have to feel guilty about eating food. We have to eat food. You need food to survive. There's a level of acceptance that needs to happen with food. We need food. Food is fuel. Your body constantly needs to be given its gas to be able to keep going. So learning how to deal with guilt and anxiety behind food is one of the pillars of mindful eating that is maybe arguably the most important one, because that really is the thing that stops us or makes us feel like we failed, right? Is feeling guilty about eating something we know we shouldn't have had, the anxiety of knowing if we can even stop ourselves from eating it. All of these things can play a part in creating that kind of atmosphere. So letting this kind of wash over you to release that guilt, release that anxiety is a huge pillar of mindful eating. Eating to maintain health. So this is kind of a mind over matter type of situation. So obviously we want to eat to enjoy the flavors, textures, all those things, but also we need to think about how can this food maintain a healthy body? What flavors, textures, lovely smells can I put around me that still allows me to maintain my health and wellness? As I touched on before, one of the biggest things that I really help my clients do is create awareness of themselves. And that comes from understanding your feelings after you have food. So obviously we have a feeling while we're eating. We have a feeling before we eat, like, oh, I'm excited to have that food. Then you have that food. Oh, that tasted really good. And then there's always how you feel afterwards. You either feel satisfied by your choice, or maybe you don't think about it at all. Maybe it's like, oh, that's normal. Or maybe you think like, that was terrible. I felt awful after. My body, feels bad. Well, it's easy to recognize it when you're feeling really good, and it's easy to recognize it when you're feeling really bad. But that little gray area in between, you got to start dissecting that area and really understanding what that food is doing for you. It also affects, your figure. Obviously, you gain weight, you lose weight. So becoming more hyper aware of the changes that happen. Do you feel bloated? Do you not? All of those things are going to help you kind of diagnose if a food is a healthy mind and body choice for you. And lastly, in mindful eating's kind of mantra is you need to appreciate your food. So that kind of ties it all together. Appreciate the food that's in front of you. That means you have to give it the attention it deserves. That means you got to understand what the flavors are doing for you, how it's affecting your body, how it's making you feel. All of these things all together come in to appreciate your food. And that takes a level of taking a step back and allowing yourself to kind of note the progress and note the process that you put your body through when you bring food into your life. So I guess what you're thinking is, okay, well, how can all of this help you lose weight? Like I was saying early on, one of the biggest steps I bring my clients through is we spend a couple of weeks, every single client, I don't care what client it is, we spend the first couple of weeks really digging into their current habits. This unlocks a huge treasure chest of ideas, thoughts, and I will tell you something, in that 2 weeks, almost every single time my clients lose weight. And it's not because they've made big changes in their food or they have just become more aware of what they're eating. So it helps them make different choices, even if they're not trying to make different choices. You're like, oh, maybe 2 teaspoons is enough. Putting that in instead of realizing that, oh, I was putting 400 calories of peanut butter on my food every single day. So just a little step of being more aware, mindful eating is going to help you make different choices. If you're having one of those days where you're really, really hungry and you realize that you're dehydrated, you choose the salad over the sandwich or burger, then, you've done mindful eating. You appreciate, you love your food. It tastes good to you because it was the right food for you at that moment. So finding this mindful eating is a huge step towards getting to that weight loss on a good, healthy, happy level. The other thing that mindful eating offers you in terms of weight loss is being able to recognize your small successes. If you are hyper aware of what is happening in your body, how you're feeling, you have more opportunities to recognize that you have done something good. And that is an important step. Because the more you feel good about the actions you're taking, the more you know that you're going in the right direction, the more you're going to want to do it, the longer you're going to take it on, and the better you're going to be at it. Of course, if you have any more questions about weight loss, about how to get out of yo-yo dieting, how to break that diet mind culture that we've set up, just come contact me. This is what I do, and this is how I've helped clients in the past and how I continue to help clients to the future. You can check out my website down below here. You're also more than welcome to leave a comment below. I will answer you back. And I do appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. I put a lot of heart and soul into them for you guys. So every view and every watch is super important to me, and I appreciate you. See you next week.